guys. Real Talk Leeds, obviously. Big Mo, official Leeds. My brethren Carl. I'll let him introduce himself.
Carl.
So today, basically, the reason why I've got Carl with me today, guys, because he's like a big, I won't say a big name, I'll say he's well known in Leeds, for good reasons and bad reasons, some people may say. But the main reason I've got him here today, because I know how much he's turned his life around. You get me? So like I said, I've introduced him. The last time we spoke properly on this level was in jail, and that was 2010. Was it 10 or 9? I left in 10 at the start of 10.
It's only 2009.
Yeah, definitely been start 9 probably. We was on B wing together, a couple different wings, you get me? But so that sentence, I was in there for, mine was the drugs one. What was that one for you?
Mine was attempt kidnap on the white guy.
Yes. So from then, was that the last time you haven't been back, have you?
No.
That's it, same here. So God willing, touch fucking wood. When I go
2011.
back. 2011, I got out of Kirtlev. Yeah. And then, so from jail, what's been the next step for you? What have you been doing since then?
So 2011, wow. I started playing rugby. I went back.
You played rugby?
Yes, I went back to rugby.
And you did boxing, didn't you?
So I went back to rugby, and then kids, and then I went into businesses. So I ended up with cafes, tattoo shop, and cash converters.
Okay, yeah, shit, I remember the cash converters.
Yeah.
And wait, the tattoo shop, was that one up?
Chapel.
Yeah.
So I went in, that's what I was doing for some time.
Okay.
And then the boxing thing was, a man just dared me. I caught me whilst I was in drink.
I nearly got caught up.
I got caught in drink. It was at the time I was at a christening, and he caught me up into it. And I was, you know what it is? I tried to double black it. Imagine this. I think it was something like £15 a ticket. And he said, "Oh, I'll give you £5 for each ticket." But I knew I could sell quite a few tickets, so I said, "Nah, give me a tenner." And he went, "Yeah." So from there, I couldn't say no. Yeah, I'm getting paid. So I was doing a lot of tickets, but yeah. And then stopped all that. A few things happen, a few things go wrong. Do you know what I mean, in business?
Yeah.
And then I started. Oh no, tell a lie. I went and did some work at AOL, like tying things over. Bought a house, tying things over. And whilst I was there, I then my friend who was my rugby coach, his missus said, "Listen," she was working at an alternate provision. She said, "Listen, come and volunteer here." Because I was like, "What do I do in that? You know, like where am I going?"
Yeah.
So she said, "Look,
wait, you worked with Peanuts, Lucas?
Yes. Yeah. So what had happened was, she said, "Come and volunteer."
Mm-hmm.
So I never had a CV. I never had nothing like that. Do you know what I mean? So then she started working with me like on CVs. She said, "Listen, trust me, volunteer. Put that down. People will come."
Mm-hmm.
So then from there, I was volunteering there, and then what happened was I thought I'll go volunteer at another organisation.
Mm-hmm.
Maddest thing ever. So I went to go visit them, sales volunteer. I sat down with the guy. He's not longer there. I sat down with him, and he was like, blah blah, because it's an organisation that does lived experience, so they use that model.
Okay. So when you say lived experience, do you mean like what you've been through?
Yeah, so it could be criminal, drugs, homelessness. Okay. It's just lived experience.
Makes sense, yeah.
And what happened was, I said, "Oh yeah, I'll volunteer." He said, "Look, I'll sort the paperwork, I'll come back."
Mm-hmm.
What had happened was, in the meantime, he'd gone into the office after I left, into like manager's office or whatever, and said, "Oh, I've just been sat down with a guy called Carl, and there's been a woman in there who was from the end who knew me, and said, listen,
perfect,
you want him, like he's exactly what you say on the tin." And then so it just like that was 2019. So so 2019.
So did you have more kids when you came out?
Yeah. So I had more kids when I came out.
How many more?
4.
Fucking. I wish I only had one. I thought I didn't know.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
4.
So wait, how old are you now then?
That's a big question. Personally, no, do you know what? I'm getting older. I'm getting older and wiser.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm older and wiser. We'll keep it. We'll keep it, Charlie.
Yeah, that's it. That'll do it, Charlie.
Keep it, Charlie.
Nah, that's cool, man. So, got down here, come out of jail, explain what you've been doing out of jail. So was that the first time you went to jail?
No.
Well, obviously I know that. It's just for the camera.
Oh, right.
Obviously I know that, but you get explain.
Nah. So I went to jail a few times.
What was the first thing you could remember going to jail for?
First thing, so I went to jail for. The first thing I ever went to jail for was.
You had me smoking around?
No, cool.
Cut this one.
The first thing I went to jail for was a commercial burglary in Harrogate. And we got chased all the way back.
Tell me about that if you can remember.
So we did. It was a hi-fi shop, if I remember correctly. And
hi-fi shop.
yeah, it was like back then. It was like all techniques, class AA, AAA.
Yeah.
So it was
stacks.
Yeah, so it was the one. You get me? And we got chased all the way back from Harrogate. But them times.
Do you remember what car you was in?
Was in an Astra GT 16 valve.
Fucking hell, Astra, you know. The only reason I'm asking these questions, guys, because
it's old school.
It's old school, and some of these answers
with
that
the
he's going to
digital clock,
give.
with the digital clock.
Look, and irony.
Digital clock, and what it was is there was a driver who was a very good friend of mine, but it wasn't from Leeds, it was from Birmingham. So the people that watch it will know exactly who the guy is.
Yeah.
And there was me, an Asian brother, and I won't name his name, but a lot of people will see him now. But he's kind of gone downhill. I actually. Whenever I see him, I try and do a little, you know, like because it's you see him, you know, he's a drinker now.
Yeah.
So it's turned out a bit bad. He's a good kid, and we got chased back. And as we got to Headingley, you know where so you come down here Headingley, past the Lawns Wood, you're coming down that hill.
Yeah.
As you come down, you get to the traffic lights, don't you?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go left to go towards Meanwood.
Okay.
As we got there, we've hit a bit of traffic. What I didn't realise. Because you're not thinking.
It's a two-way lane coming up.
Yeah. My car door, my side was open. A police officer jumps in the car. So obviously, as that's happening, we drove. So the driver, I'm not in control of the driver's drove, but the policeman fell out of the car. So yeah, that was my first ever sentence. I got 11 months for that in Kirklev, and that's when it was a while. And trust me, listen, fights, and when I say racism, it was normal. Racism was normal.
How old was you?
So I was 6. So imagine this: I just finished my GCSEs, ended with 8 GCSEs, and then that year I went jail, and it was my first ever Christmas. So my first ever sentence was 11 months, 5.5, and I was doing it over Christmas as well.
Oh.
So yeah, that was my first.
Do you reckon that made you more of a right, I'm getting out, I'm on a mad thing, or did you want to come out and be a different guy, and it just the streets, or what? What did it turn you, or?
Do you know what it is? I think a lot of people look at things and go, everybody has the same speech. You're gonna go to jail, you're gonna come out, you're gonna behave. But you know what my biggest problem was in life, and looking back and understanding it, is everybody that was, see, you have people that are older than you, and you see them and they're making money or they've done certain things, and you look at them and you go, wow.
I want to do that.
Yeah. When I grow up,
I want to be like that.
See, my issue was never that. My issue was the problem I had, and it's very negative, was when I used to look at these people, say I was 16 and they was 19, 20, I used to look at them and go, you're not that bad. Like, when I get to your age, I'm going to be X, Y, and Z. Do you know what I mean?
Well, let me interview for a second. So, the way I came about Carl was, first of all, the name. Before, as I got older, people would say, oh, you related to so-and-so, and I'd think, I don't know who you're on about, but I didn't understand why they were saying it. But anyway, I've left school now, and then my friend's dad they was together, and I'm not going to say his name. There's my friend's dad and my other friend's dad, and these men were causing fucking havoc on the streets, yeah? I'm not going to get into it, because there's probably a lot of sad, sore situations, people feeling a bit hurt, but, yeah, that's how I came about it, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's how I knew of him, and I mean, so, we'll step forward, just come out of jail, 15, probably went for a few other different trials and tribulations with jail. Let's move to, say, your 20s now.
Yeah.
Late 20s, because that's probably around the time he was hanging with them members there, innit? Or was it later on in life?
Yeah, it was like late 20s, early 30s. Kind of. I was a raver.
Okay.
I was just a raver. Like, you'd find me up and down the country raving. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Nobody seen me for years. Like, I was just like, for me, and I stick by it, I'm not a trouble causer. Like, I'm genuinely not a trouble causer. My problem is my problem was, sorry.
He was the fighter, you.
Do you know, listen, do you know what it is? No, and do you know what it is? Like, and I said it to you previously, like, I'm not going to come on here.
No.
Because, do you know what I find is, you got a bag of people, and that have got YouTube channels that are unreal.
Yeah.
And my argument to this is, you bringing people on who are chatting shit, and they're talking about they did this, and they stabbed this man, they shot that man, and they did this. And what you're doing is you're bringing a platform that's glorifying it.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're telling children to not do it.
It don't make sense.
You can't do. Do you understand? Like, you can't do it. So for me, look, my argument's always been this: I'm never going to talk about myself. Whatever other people want, because this is how it's changed nowadays. So most people now will always go, "Oh yeah, I'm a bad man. I've done this, I've done that," and you see, man, that. Whereas I believe is your reputation should always precede you, so it should never be you chatting about yourself.
Never.
It's what other people say. Because most people, like, I'm not stood up now, but most people thought I was 6'2", black, and spoke with a Yardi accent. When you spoke of me, until you met me, and I'm pure Yorkshire, and I come and I shake your hand and I'm mixed race.
Yeah.
And then they go, "Do you know what? He's all right.
He's all right. Yeah.
Change
the character.
So that's why I'm never gonna. I just believe that's how people glorify things to make it out.
And I'll tell you why I agree, yeah? Because, so the last interview I did one with Jar from Bradford, big up Jar as well. And I had several people phone me and say to me, "Why didn't you tell them about this time? Why didn't you tell this time and that time?" And I'm like, "But bro, number one, I was probably about 16, 17 when all the badness were going on. Yeah. And I got the back end of it. The real shit that was going on was when I was like 12, 13 at home in my yard, and I heard things going off outside my yard. You might hear a boof boof. You might hear a bang bang. You might hear they're chasing me. Like, I heard it all, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, but I wasn't living it, so I can't come on here and start saying, yeah, well, this happened and that happened. And it's the same. I didn't expect Carl to come on here today and tell me about a situation that's happened or that situation, because he's past that. You know what I mean? And that's another thing what I'm going to say. So, if you didn't take that conscious decision to change your life around for the better, whether your kids, family, missus, mum, dad, whoever, where would you see, what would you be doing now with your life?
I'd be dead.
And if you want dead?
I'll be in jail. I'll be serving life.
Okay, and if you want serving life, you want in jail, I'm just trying to give people the three other options. So you have a dead, jail, serving life, or you're just going to be out on the streets as a fucking nobody, no one cares about
you.
you.
Well, you see, what you'll find is these people that are still, if they're not in prison and they're not in jail, most of these people are talking about, yo, back in the day. They're still living back in 90s and 2000s. But you may as well be in jail.
It's true. It's true. You're living in a jail.
You're living in a jail in your head because you're living back. So you may as well be in jail.
Yeah.
Like I said, look, do you know what it is? Everybody has this mentality now where it's all about self-stitching. Probably, luckily for me in my past, there wasn't cameras on every street corner and there wasn't social media to that level. Do you understand? So
you could get on with
you could get on with what you like. You could willingly drive around with a strap all day. Do you know what I mean? Like
no,
what, like you could. Times have changed, but again, like everything else, you have to adapt with the time.
Yeah.
But these people that are so old school are still living in a jail in their head where they're going, yeah, in 2000, and then and you know what they do? They have a drink, they have a spliff, and they go, yo, do you remember when man was that? Fuck off. Doing like those. If you're gonna say it, say you. Don't say me.
As well, the people that are actually living that life now, you will never hear them speak on it because they're actually living it.
No, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And do you know what it is? And again, like for me, my purpose today is to say how my mentality was then, knowing how the mentality is of youth today. So again, you know what my biggest bugbear was?
Go on.
More than anything in the world,
Go on.
was somebody calling me a pussy.
Mad. That's crazy.
That was my biggest bugbear. And do you know why?
Because you know inside you're not.
Because I know I'm not. Now, I prefer if you turn around and say, listen, don't like my man.
Yeah.
Cool, I can live with that. But then what would happen is so similar like this where we are now. You have the after parties, and there'll be in the after party, somebody in there will say, da 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 da. Somebody in there's gonna go, oh, man was a pussy.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm at the after party next week.
It's real.
But do you know what I mean? Like that's the mentality. It's like when everybody's talking about gangs and trying to educate these kids to come out of gangs. Let me show you something about gangs. Yeah? Gangs is like a family. Whichever person's gravitated to it, whether it be poverty, whether it be no father figure, whether it be big brother, whether it be the trauma, whether it be a house broken down home, X, Y, Z, whatever that might be, that's your gang. That's your gang. You know what I mean? So that's how you gravitate, because you're looking for those other things that are not there.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question now. Can anybody come into your house, with you and your family, and tell you how you should be in your family?
No way.
No. Nobody can come in my house and tell me, yo, listen, your family dynamics are wrong. So do you know what is stop? You can't. So how are you going to go tell a kid
that's in a gang,
that's in a gang, that it's a family, to say, yo, you're doing wrong, come out of it? I don't tell no. Listen, I've worked with thousands of kids now, and a kid that will come on and tell me, and say, listen, Carl told me to leave a gang. What I will do is I will give every single thing that you can possibly want to learn, so that you come up with a decision in yourself.
It's real.
I can't tell you. Listen. I know when I was a kid, you could never tell me X, Y, or Z, because I'm always A, B, or C. So don't come with, bro. Listen, licks never changed me.
And you know today as well, the pressures of the internet that we didn't have. We could go home, have our dinner with mum and dad. In your bedroom, you're chilling. That's the day done. The kids of today can't even go home and go to sleep. They're on the phone till 4 o'clock in the morning, having an argument with someone.
You know, it's the mad thing. It's like other things like, well, I remember, so obviously I believe in circumstances. I'm a big believer in circumstances. So before I talk about circumstances, I remember I used to walk maybe 5 miles to go knock on a friend's door for him not even to be in.
So when you was younger,
when I was younger.
So that's a good question. I'm gonna, as he's gonna get speaking about it, what was it like growing up in the 80s? Because you are a product of the 80s, and it's mad how you are sat here today, healthy, happy, God willing, you know what I mean? Because there's other men and women that was in your position back then that have led a different life.
And they're no longer here as well.
Exactly. So what was the peer pressure?
Okay, so let me go on to circumstances. So I have to go. For me, I always have to draw back to a circumstance. So my first circumstance is very simple. My mum was born in St. Kitts, but she was born with a hole in her heart.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So therefore, she had to come to this country at 2 years old to have an operation to live.
And who she come with?
She come with my grandmother. Okay. Well, granddad came first, job, house, except for my grandmother, come with me. Because them say you can travel on passports. So imagine, my mum was born in St. Kitts with a hole in her heart. You can't get the operation in St. Kitts. You can only get the operation in England or in America. To come to England. The circumstances of her dying is the circumstance why I'm alive.
Wow.
Now, I don't have a father figure in my life apart from my granddad is my father figure.
And how old was your granddad then when you landed here?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
So he was the father figure, and I always remember him saying to me, "Listen, you can call me anything you want, but you call your mum, and your nana. You can call me Peter, granddad, or even dad." Now, what people fail to realise is I've always classed myself as special. I'll tell you why. Because my mum's black and my dad's white. That was unknown back then. It's rare. Like now, you see when I see...
We just explained the situation to you a minute ago about my mum. And how...
Yeah. So now, you see me now, no word of a lie. I smile every time I see a black woman with a mixture child. Makes me, listen, no end. Makes me smile.
Nah, I get it.
So then, at 5 years old, between 5 and 7, my granddad dies. Because I'm living in Gipton now. So
that's another thing as well. So... That was your first family home, Gipton, then?
Yeah, so I'm Gipton, Oak Tree Mount. Then my granddad dies. So the circumstance of my granddad dying makes me move to Hare Hills, where then it becomes multicultural. Instead of it being predominantly white, it becomes, I've got one neighbour.
We've had the same thing.
Yeah, so I've got one neighbour that's Chinese, another neighbour that's Indian.
It's crazy.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Going from white to white.
So again, you got to remember the circumstances of death made me move to Hare Hills. So it's all based on circumstances. Now, people can say what they want about Gipton and call it Corned Beef Island. Probably I was a little bit too young to understand really Gipton. All I know is, there's a lot of racism because it was like that.
Yeah, of course.
When I went to Hare Hills, all I can say is this: if Gipton was anything like Hare Hills and better, then yeah, I'd have lived in Gipton all my life. Because Hare Hills, I can tell you now, doors was unlocked. You know, you hear that. You didn't have to lock it up. Listen, the people in the street let me say so. The people in the street didn't like the things that we did. But if it was on top, we could go in the house.
Yeah, straight.
Do you understand?
It's like community proper.
Yeah.
Right.
Like my street alone, Elfords, because you got to remember, we only had 2 Elfords, and the rest was Bayswater, we had a park.
Yeah.
That's it.
So who was your family friends your childhood friends that you can talk about, like growing up? Who did you roll with? Like, is there anyone that's in a different life? Well, they might have gone now, they might have passed. You know what I'm saying? That we can talk on. You know what I mean? I don't mind.
No, listen. There was a big family in the ends.
Okay.
That I was good friends, and I knew them all. So like G them.
Yeah, man.
So you got that family there.
So that's another question. So what age did you link with G and Muntz and them man there?
So like
Sats, because Sats not here. Muntz don't mind man talking on him because he's living looking after his family.
Yeah.
G don't mind man talking because he's doing the same thing, and this is the other man. And these are the 4 members that used to roll together hard. You get me? And I don't want people to start saying, yeah, well, I don't want no one to have no animosity because at the end of the day, it's not that raw big men. No. And if you feel away, phone my phone, please. You get me? And we'll talk. But, so as I get back, what age did you, man, come together as that circle?
Oh, that's years later, that, bro.
Was that years? Okay.
That's years later.
Okay.
So I met G when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
So I met G then. So me, G, and then obviously I knew all his brothers. But yeah, what the thing about me is I was an only child.
Yeah.
So I didn't have all the brothers. My dad had the kids with other women.
But you didn't have.
But I didn't in my family home. Just me. So me, most of the time, anything I was doing, I was spoiled. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've never lied. I was spoiled. Like I got anything I wanted. But as far as looking up to somebody in X, Y, and Z, like anything I did.
You looked up to yourself.
Yeah. So I looked up to myself. So, you know what? And again, when you look back in life and you talk about traumas, I know my first trauma was my granddad died. I know now that's my first trauma. Because I can guarantee if that man would have still been alive, I'd have probably been a barrister or a police officer.
You would have been.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Definitely, because they didn't bring you here to do what you did.
Yeah.
Not that you did anything, because it's actually circumstances. And I don't want people thinking, he could have done it different, because you can't, it's circumstances, it's surroundings.
But, and I know that that's my first trauma. But I know from then, and I still say it now, like, I never feared another man like him.
I believe it because that's what my dad would like.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've never met another man, another individual that put fear in me like he did. So I think, and again that goes alongside with the thing when I'm saying when I just look at these older people. Because look, you look at it in school. Let's just say you're in school and you're 10 years old and the kid is 12 years old. This 12-year-old can badge you up because he's bigger. Then you get to 14, 12. He's still 2 years above you. But he can still badge you up. Then 16, 14. He's starting to fill out a little bit. So you can still badge you up. Once you get to 18, 16,
it's a mad thing.
Bro, you know, listen, anybody watching this, ask, and they can verify what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of things to verify, but I would often say to people, yo, come see me when I'm 16 or 18. like, and again, there's a big myth, and I wanted to stop you on the thing where you were saying about the fighter. Bro, let me show you something. One, I'll admit on camera right now, I've never been the toughest guy.
No.
Never. I can tell you directly on camera, I've been knocked out. Clean.
Yeah.
Clean.
Not straight.
But what I can also say is, I would always fight. I'll always get up. And if I lose, I'll always come back.
It might not move his hands.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But no, I'm just that was
then.
you know what I mean? Even with the hands.
No,
but like I was never the toughest guy. It was just a thing where I was always in trouble because of my eyes. It was always my eyes. Yo, why my man watching me like this?
Yeah.
So I was always in trouble. And not only that, what people fail to realise back then, being mixed race, was hard, bro.
The white people don't like you. The black people don't like you.
Yeah. You got to remember, for me, a lot of people never believed my mum was my mum. They thought my nana was my mum.
Sick.
Because what nobody could comprehend, and again, and I say it on camera, I got a lot of racism growing up. But for my mum, I saw more racism towards my mum from black people than what I saw from white people towards mum, because she had a child to a white man.
Yeah.
And again, when we're going back in time, it was frowned on. And
don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
To this day, some people still have that little.
So there was that. So when people want to talk about racism, me personally, I face racism, no problem. I get that. However, for my mum, for me to witness it on my mum, it was different. So the racism towards me was different towards my mum. And the first time I ever saw racism towards my mum was and I don't want to bad up the police because I'm not like that. But it was a police officer who
yeah.
said people like you.
Yeah.
And that word, when he said people like you to my mum, wow.
You're mad.
Yeah. No, not me. Yeah, she went. Listen, bro. Like my mum went crazy.
Well, for the era what she came over here, she was definitely one of them black women that was an activist. Again, she would have had that, you know, she would have had all the same thoughts and feelings as a lot of the Black Panther and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Because they've come over in the era where it's just pure racism, systemical and on the roads, whereas now it's more systemical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man, that era must have been mad.
No, do you know it wasn't, you know, it was a carefree era.
I could understand when you say that the carefree era in the sense where there wasn't much to worry about. Whereas now, your kids leave the door and, you know what I mean, bills, taxes, everything's just sky fucking high, man. Do you know what I mean? Even down to wearing clothes. What you wear, people want to start judging you, do you know what I mean? Whereas back then, no one had money to buy all that stuff, so everyone had the same shit.
There was no Nike Airs.
No.
I think Nike Division came out when I was just with what you would call secondary now. So it's probably, I think Nike Airs came out when I was probably 12. No, it wasn't what I was talking about. It wasn't even Nike Airs, it was Nike Division. Black and white.
See, I don't remember that.
Yeah, Nike Division. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So from Gipton to Hare Hills. So you got to Hare Hills when you was about, what, 16, 15?
No, I was in there from 7.
7, sorry. So, okay, Gipton, you moved straight away when your granddad passed, sorry.
Yeah.
Hare Hills, 7.
Yeah.
7 till what age was you in Hare Hills, would you say?
Now.
Till now?
I still say Hare Hills.
Yeah, for real. I'm the same though, even though I'm all the way up here. You get me? And then we're just saying that you linked up with them, man. What age was that at then?
So Sats was trying to think now. So that would have been 2001. And
23 years.
Yeah, because and what the PUD situation was kind of new PUD from a distance, but what happened was we was in jail together, and he got up in something whilst he was out on a town visit, and professional,
I know, silence.
So yeah, I met PUD, don't mind, but met PUD, and he got in something with on a town visit, and he wasn't going to go back to jail. And we used to travel together,
I believe you.
And I went to him and I said, listen, go back, when you come out, I've got you.
Yeah.
And he listened. And from then,
you and him were just
in spars.
Last thing, I've got one last question. Have you got any stories that you may want to tell on camera? Let me think.
Do you know what it is? I don't really have a story that you can tell, because you see, like for me, the stories that I tell are the stories that I can tell. Most of them I don't remember. Yeah. So only most people tell me about them.
Yeah.
So because I've cut that much of my life away from that. A lot of things
in your head.
Like the other week, I met with Bud Man was like, yo, so I was like, oh, I didn't even remember that. But like, for me, all circumstances, it's always been circumstances. Like, for me, I was never a bully. I was never the man who picked up the thing first. Like, it was always like, leave me alone. Like,
it's always been a reaction.
Yeah. So for me, and I still live by this now. I live by this here. This is my world. It's here in my hand. All I'm asking for is just this. There's no room for you to come in it, and I don't want to come out of it. So you can have all the rest of the world, but just leave me with this little piece, and I'm fine. The problems I ever had was when people stepped into that world, because I'll do whatever it takes to keep that world mine. You know, it's like anything else in life, isn't it? Like, if you're unsure of something, then you're either gonna, if something comes up, you're either gonna freeze, fly, or fight. Now,
we don't freeze.
Yeah, you know, listen, there's many occasions where people do. Yeah. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, there's probably people that will watch this and go, yeah, my man's this, that, and the other. I understand that, but that's your, like, for me,
that's his story.
Yeah. I said it to you before, like, for me, like, I've seen loads of people where you're talking beef, like, if you're talking Leeds at a time, then you can say, yeah, we was part of what you would call gang wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, dumb. Real dumb. And for what it kind of started over, even dumber.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, for me, like, I'm just not. I've seen people that would, well, I could categorically tell you have tried to kill me. And I've seen them, some of them I've shook hands with. Like, that's what people need to understand. Like, all this beef you're talking now, in 10, 15, 20, unless a man's killed your brother.
Yes.
Oh, he's killed somebody, you know what I mean? Like, that's different. I get that. Something's happened.
Somebody's been, it's different.
But for me, what I'm saying is these people you were chatting, so I don't understand the point of wasting 20 years to then come back. Like, I had a naive thing. Sax, when he died, he wasn't speaking to a certain person. Or there wasn't, they got something and they weren't talking. So my thing was, I can't really chat to him because your thing wasn't sorted out with my man.
Yeah.
But then when I sat down and thought about it, I thought, well,
why am I even,
like,
living your life?
It's not like we're best friends and we're going to start going out for drinks. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you just squash it or something?
Yeah, like, people feel to, like beefs are useless.
Definitely.
Beefs do, and do you know what it is? Beefs don't actually solve anything. They don't solve nothing.
Most of them start as well, though. It's either a fucking woman or money. To be fair, I've never known a beef with anybody on the roads, whether it's the internet, whether it's real life, whether it's fucking history, it's always a woman.
It's like when you go on these postcodes, like, I wouldn't even mind. You don't even own the fucking postcode.
You know, saying that actually, were you saying that? Today, the beef today, it's over a postcode. It's not even over money or women. Yeah. A lot of us just say, you know what? I don't like that area. The area you don't like us, but it's crazy. There might be deeper rooted issues.
Yeah, but you know what they don't understand is even if you win. So let's just, as an example, LS26 and LS25 don't like each other. Let's stay far out. Yeah. If LS26 beats up LS25, LS25 don't change its postcode. It still stays LS25, unless you've got major money and you buy some land. Yeah. And you build an estate on that land of 20 houses for your family, then you will own that postcode. That postcode of your street you may own.
It's true.
Other than that, listen.
Yeah. So we stopped off talking there. My memory's bad. Postcode. That's it. I think we're coming to the end of it. We're just going to close up, and we're just on about there with the postcode crap and that, man. I mean, obviously, it's deeper than just a postcode, and I know that whoever's watching now, I know for a fact it's deeper than a postcode. He's probably dished your brethren, someone's got hurt, you've had to, and it's just a never-ending thing, and it's one of them things, it's hard to cut it off. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's hard to navigate it, because, like, you see these beefs that are now, like, that's going on, like, they're not really, they're not really beefs. Like for me, what people didn't understand is, see, when
people are dying. Don't be wrong. People are dying. I'm saying it's serious. I don't want you guys to think we're knocking your thing. But
no, because when wars cost money.
Yeah.
Because why would you not try? Listen, I'm not
condoning.
I'm not condoning that you go out there and sell drugs. I'm not condoning that. Far from that.
We're coming from an angle of he's an ex
gang
member. We're gonna say.
But what I'm saying is. If, say, you want to do, and your occupation is going to be selling drugs, that's your occupation, okay, do you. But what they don't understand is, to sell drugs, you have to be about, now, while you're in these wars, then you've got to be careful that you don't get set up. You've got to be careful of what ends you're going in. When you're talking about gal, because honey trapping, all that's getting done. So really, you're not even making the amount that you could put, not that I'm condoning when you sell drugs, I'm just saying, like,
you try to make sense out of nonsense.
And not only that, what people fail to understand is one, most people are self-snitching now. The snitching is stupid, just self-snitching. The cameras and the police stuff that they've got is unbelievable. Like, you name people that are actually getting away with murder nowadays, it's rare. And not only that, from you do that and they're related to a gang, or they're related to drugs, or anything like that, well, you're doing 30s.
Straight up, yeah.
Like,
I even watched one a bit ago, and the guy got done for
Joint Enterprise.
Joint Enterprise. Listen to the story. So I'm just gonna tell you a quick snippet. The kid's been killed. It's all flying about on social media.
I
The
think
next
someone
day,
got nicked the same day, but they come from a madness. Like it was like I think it was like armed police and that. Mine was just speech about violent disorder. Remember, there's 9 people, you know. So out of 3, there's 3 straight away, and there's 6 of us. We all got the violent disorder treatment. Then when I got a solicitor, he's like, "I'm gonna have to break it to you, mate. They're trying to do you for a joint enterprise." And I was like, "What?"
it's all flying about on social media. The next day, one of the kids that got done for the enterprise thing rung his friend, and he's telling this on the story. It's on RTM. He said, "Yo, bro, are you good? I was checking, you know, because obviously what happened last night, whatever, man, was, you know, what you gonna do with yourself?" He's not even thinking about himself. Bro, they come and took him. He was confused. 15 years old. He got 16 years for joint enterprise. He didn't even do anything.
I was talking with a woman who's an activist for joint enterprise and battling hard to change the law in joint enterprise. And even that's a struggle. Even that's a struggle.
Remember?
Let me give you an example. And this is what young people need to understand this. So imagine this now. You and your virgin have grown up in together. You call his mum auntie. In fact, when me and G was kids, if he got licks, I got licks as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like that was just normal.
My friends know my dad. Everybody.
But so imagine this now. So you and your virgin are friends. You go to school together. You've been in school together. You've been playing football together. X, Y, and Z. One day, one of you kick a ball. You smash a window. Police get phoned. You two have done it. You put your hands up. You say, "Listen, it was an accident. I'm sorry." Blah blah blah. Written down in the book. You got arrested. X, Y, and Z. Okay.
10 years later.
Couple of years go on now. Yeah.
I know where you're going with it, yeah.
Couple of years go on, and you're smoking weed one day with each other. You get stopped by police smoking weed in possession of cannabis. Bear in mind, there's no violence being done. Okay, right down again.
Yeah.
Then one day you're in a car together, you get stopped. Nothing in it. You get your brethren gets a producer, you're in the passenger seat. Written down again. Then one day your brethren gets in some beef with somebody, and he decides to come out of his house with a knife.
Phones you first.
Yes, phones you. You go with him. You don't know about his knife. You don't know about the knife. Then he goes out. You just happen to bump into the guy. He happens to just stab him. He happens to die. Let me tell you something. The biggest problem you've got is this. How the fuck are you going to prove that you didn't know about it when you've been arrested together, you smoke weed together, you play football together, you've been stopped in cars together? It's not about whether you knew or not. It's about can you prove you didn't, because they can prove that for the last 15 years, you two have been best friends. So how are you going to be able to prove that you didn't know he had a knife?
Oh.
It's that
deep.
simple.
It's deep.
It's that simple, bro.
Do you remember any guy? You won't remember the name, right? It was a little black youth that was locked up with us in Wheelston from London, and him and Chap were kind of tight. He used to spit bars. Remember when Lutal come into the jail for Black History Month?
No.
Do you remember that? You might have been gone then. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lutal came into the jail for Black History Month. There was a little youth from London called Any Guy Anyway, and I put up a picture on my Snapchat to sell a quad. He thought it was a big man's quad, so he's asking me about it. Anyway, long story short, we're getting to how the kids, rare. I'm like, yeah, my son's just been got into a little bit of a madness. He's like, yeah, fucking hell, my son's doing 20 years in jail for a joint enterprise. Put him on the phone. You get me? Bro, and we did not ring. We didn't talk about it. He's just mad how I've told him we're talking about the kids, and he's like, oh, bro, my son's doing 20 years for joint enterprise. Be careful, guys, yeah? Listen.
And you know what it is? It's not even the fact of that, it's the fact of, because look, the only way you're getting out of it is you're going to have to do this dreaded word and be a grass.
Yeah.
Let me show you something. People, listen, look at me good. There's not a man walking the earth that I'm going jail for.
Me neither. I'm done. Fuck that. If we go together and we do it together, cool. You don't get caught, I get caught. But if I have nothing to do with this and you've got in my car after you've done a mad thing, bro, see you later. I'm done. I've got 3 kids. I'm not in the streets.
No.
Bro, like, you need to think, listen, I was on the bus, yeah. I was on the bus with the case with Rui, the black youth from over there, Sammy, and then there was the big mixed race youth.
Yeah, I know.
Listen to this, bro. I don't give a shit if you watch him. My man's on the back of the bus. There was a young white guy who had some, he must have had a jacket on. There was something where this white guy was nothing to do with it, but he's on the bus. I'm only on my bus for my 2 year, 10 months, you know. These men are talking about 30 years, bro. Man was going, yeah, whatever his name was, Johnny, think about your kids, mate. when you go in that courtroom tomorrow, you think about your kids, because I am. I said, oh my God, life just hit me then, bro. That's, I think, because I remember that so much to this day, bro. Like, obviously, I don't know what he said. I don't know what he meant by that, but you take what you want to take from that, innit, guys? But that is what he said. He says, think about your kids, bro. You get me?
Listen,
It's fucking real.
You're gonna get. Just remember, everybody gets put in situations.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you deal with them situations when you put in them.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like I said, if I'm not in a situation, I don't need to talk about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's simple. Like me, I work with kids. I do professional sessions. I work. And whether people like, I do sessions. I do sessions with the police.
No. I know you're gonna say that because I'm on the same thing. I've been. Someone's that spoke to me about doing something with the police. You get me?
Listen, do you know my side of it is? Let me tell you something.
I genuinely think I'm gonna.
I do scenarios when I do these 2-hour sessions with police on county lines X, Y, Z. And let me tell you something. When I do a scenario and I put the blame on them and say, listen, how would you do it if it was your child? Let me tell you something. Most police don't say they'll phone police.
Mm-hmm. See?
Most police will say they don't phone police when it's their own child. They'll protect their own child. So for me, all the kids out there, your mum and your dad are going to try and protect you as much as they can. But it gets to a stage where they have to turn around and go, okay, well,
there's not much
I can do here. Yeah. And not only that, you have to remember the repercussions of that, because my argument to this is very simple. If you do something to somebody, then you should, when you've done it, you should automatically automatically expect something in return.
Mm-hmm. If you don't, you're an idiot.
Yeah, so you should. Yeah. And therefore, you shouldn't put yourself in a situation where that's the, like back in the day, which most people have these rules of saying no mothers, no parents, and no kids involved. Bro, back in the day, people's parents was getting clapped after.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
serious? Like, but the stories I could tell, you don't know anyway. Without getting too into it, you don't know certain people went to certain mums' houses and certain things happen, innit? Like, and this is all a part of that life. And it's like, I was speaking to my son yesterday, not yesterday, the day before when we went for food, and I was saying the same thing to him, like, bro, you want to go out there, you want to carry this knife, you want to be this bad man. You don't care about me, you don't care about your mum, you don't care about your grandma, you don't care about your granddad. And all these people here are the ones that are helping you. When I was younger, when Carl was younger, our parents helped us, they gave us stuff, but they didn't give us what we're giving our kids today. Please believe me. But I love my parents to bits, so I always rate them.
I want to beg to differ on that one. Because listen, I'll be honest with you, like,
now you said that, you know,
I was spoiled.
Everything, yeah.
Anybody that grew up with me, they'll tell you, bro. Like, you know, like, what's it called? Family allowance. What's it what mums get for the kids?
The benefits.
Yeah, child benefits.
Child benefits.
My mum used to give this to me.
Sick. Yeah.
Like, I got that.
Yeah.
Like, I let people know straight. Like, I was spoiled. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I was spoiled. If anything, latest clothes wears, everything like that, I had it.
Yeah, of course.
It was only me. My mum had a good job. My mum worked for the post office. My mum getting paid.
You already said you had the night division, man. You only was studying.
Yeah, like my mum looked after me royally.
Of course, man, of course.
Me, again, like I said to you, the biggest problem I had in my life was I never respected the older people.
Yeah.
Because I never put no fear in me like my granddad did.
Okay.
So when I always looked at these people, I didn't have the level of respect. And not only that, being calculated was the issue as well, because I'd never fuck with somebody.
And do you know why I agree? I'm telling you now, because if you know my dad, you'll know I'm scared of my dad. Yeah, I fear my dad. To this day, I fear my dad, and I'm fucking glad I fear my dad.
It's always like up to a certain age, I just I won't friend your dad no more. And even when I saw him one time, I think your brother was doing some nights. His dad was doing the door, and I was like, yo, I don't know, hey, you're alright. He was still this like little, you know, the stuff.
Yeah. And this is the thing, I think, like, and this is what Carl's trying to say to you is, he's trying to be that figure for these kids on the street. You don't interfere him. He just wants you to know that, just always know that the people above you are talking sense to you. Listen to them, accept if they tell you fucking constructive criticism, guys. You get me? Like, I don't think...
You know what it is? I think some of the biggest issues here, some of the things we have now is because people are pouring money into these things now. But most people want this. They want, if they go, here's 10 grand, we want the results now. What people fail to understand is results do not come overnight.
Yes.
It takes time, because you have to understand this. For me, working with a kid, and let's just say they're 13, and I'm educating them, telling them all the things, X, Y, and Z, and they get to, they're still carrying on with the madness, and then they get to 18, go in jail, come back out. They get to 21, go jail, come back out. They might reach 26, and all of a sudden, one day, just one fucking day, he's going to turn around and go, you know what it is? Carl was fucking right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm being successful,
yeah.
and I might never see that kid again.
Yeah. And I'm not even talking shit when I say this. Everything what he just said then is what I was feeling when I got to the age of 32. Like, yo, my dad was right, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, my mum was right. Shit, I do need to turn my life around, and I'm being serious. And I tell you why 32, because 32 was the age that me and my partner broke up, and that's the age that I realised, grow the fuck up. Yeah, you've got a good woman here, and you're pissing about, bro. And that's another thing with, like, I'll get into that on another one. I don't want to talk too much longer. I ain't got much time left, but respect the fucking women that are around you, showing you love, guys, innit? But listen, I've got nothing more to say. All my questions are answered.
Yeah, I mean, me, how I finish off is, I will always say, there's no greater love than a mother's love.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, that's my thought process. And as much as me being a dad, I just think there's no greater love than a mother's love. And
we don't all have it. Some of us don't have the mothers.
well, some of us don't. And I just think, look, whether you listen or you don't, well, sorry, not whether you listen or not. That'd be the bad thing to say. But whether you take it on board or not,
yes. All
I would say is this: is store it. Don't ever forget what you've been taught, because if someone's taught you it, they've taught you for a reason. So, although you might not be ready in your life at that particular time to change your life around, of course, everybody's different.
Like I said, the robot built in a fucking day.
So, my argument to that is just store that knowledge, because at some stage,
take heed.
Yeah, you're gonna use it. So that would be my thing. And another thing, so all these YouTube channels that are going out there and they've got big followers, but you're getting all these ex-gangsters on, and you're getting all these bad man, and they've murdered this man, stabbed this man, gone to jail for 30 years, had fucking arm chopped off, egg, whatever. Listen to me. Let me make it clear to you. Do not come out on social media and talk about, oh, this knife crime epidemic, and there's this and there's that going on, when what you're doing is you're making money off people that live that life. Like, I'm not getting a penny off my mouth.
Exactly.
So stop promoting that. The thing that also, I stay away from politics and I stay away from religion, because you'll always offend somebody. But my last party shot is this: you're getting this big thing in the news now about zombie knives being banned. Yeah, just so we're clear. Zombie knives are now being banned as well. That does not resolve knife crime, just so we're clear. So when the government have come up with this new idea of banning zombie knives, that is not stopping knife crime. I also believe knife crime, and I don't want to offend anybody whose child or brothers or sister have been stabbed and killed. Knife crime is not an epidemic now. People have been getting stabbed for years. So for me, let's not talk about all these things that make it and gratify it harder than what it is. Let's go back down to grassroots, just like you would do when you're teaching your child to crawl and you're teaching your child to walk. You have to go back in time and go down. Early intervention and prevention is the key. That's it.
Nah, man, big up, man. Listen, we're going to have more talks, because I feel like we could have gone more, but just get to know Carl, who he is, and what his life's about, and that's enough. Big up, man. Blessings, man.